Now, POV, a talking mongoose invades your home, which may or may not be an elemental spirit, that of like the Fae, and it tries to seduce your wife. How do you feel?
Not great, honestly.
Now, if a talking mongoose does invade your home, how do you feel?
I mean, I'd be pretty interested.
You know, if you can get past the claymores and get past anything. Welcome to Haunts, Graves, and Omens. My name is Fred Stewart. With me, as always, my lovely co-host.
It's me. It's Taylor. Hi.
Hi.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I feel it. Our guest, unfortunately, had to reschedule again today, which is highly unfortunate. But we have, in lieu of that, I was talking to some people out and about in our communities, and I got some fun people lined up for the coming weeks. Be coming on the podcast.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got some real fun ones. It's gonna be really interesting. One, all of them I'm very excited to have back, but one in particular, very, very excited to have back because he's only been on once. It's gonna be very cool. But
does it rhyme with Mosh Gosley?
Yes, that is one of actually. So technically, there's two of them, but Mosh Gosley, yeah. But that's fucking insane. But I have some news stories to talk about this week, and listen, we a few weeks ago probably a few months ago at this point, we talked about Robert Picton, the pig farmer killer. Are you familiar? Remember?
Yep.
Okay. So Robert Picton, the notorious serial killer, is in life-threatening critical condition, according to the Canadian government. The 74-year-old was convicted of 6 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison in 2007. He was actually eligible for parole this year, I believe. We talked about that.
Right.
Right.
How I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, estimated to have killed at least 49 women. So to sum it up, he got fucking stabbed. Surprise. Robert Picton, the piece of shit that he is, got stabbed.
That never happens.
Never.
No one has ever gotten stabbed in prison before.
Honestly, it's the first time I've heard of it. You know?
Yeah.
You know, like prison, you drop a soap, you know?
Yeah.
Guy just bends down, picks it up, and goes, here you go, man, drop that. It's like, oh, thanks, man, appreciate you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Just like that.
No, that's usually
You know, everyone's super nice.
I say as if I've been in a men's prison before. That's just how it goes. I don't know.
I do remember when you did go to prison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You went to female prison, but it was different.
Yeah.
So the 51-year-old was assaulted while in custody. Obviously, he got fucking gutted. He's currently in critical condition. So hopefully, life-threatening condition, excuse me. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he dies. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Things happen.
The other news source I have is also about something dying. The infamous Doge
saw this.
has died.
I saw that. It made me very sad. I saw it on my way home.
Yeah. Kobayashi, the infamous dog from Dogecoin and all the memes in the early, in the mid 2010s, maybe before that, probably mid 2010s, kind of in that range. Classic meme, has died.
She was like 18 or something.
That's fucking insane. That's too long.
She was an old Shiba.
Yeah, that's 18 is that's a child.
That's a legal adult right there.
It's a legal adult,
Yeah. It's fucking wild. She was very old.
Yeah, according to an official news source, Kobayashi was killed by gang violence.
She was not. She passed peacefully at home in her mom's arms.
Yeah, from gang violence.
No.
Just like, tell me who did it. She's like, it's the Jets. It's like that. It's like that musical. Okay. So super stupid. Now this episode, when Taylor, because we tend to bounce off one another each week. I do one, she does one, or whatever, however it works out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what are we covering this week? And you're like, I hope you like talking mongooses. And I was like, I fucking know exactly what this is.
It's not technically the plural of mongoose, but
It is.
mongooses.
Mongooses is the plural.
Pretty sure it's mongoose.
It's, I'm pretty sure it's mongooses.
Pretty sure it's mongoose.
I'm looking it up.
I don't know.
I bet you're wrong.
I bet you're wrong. Yeah!
Yeah, see, I'm right.
Mongooses or mongoose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're both right. Technically.
Technically, I'm right.
Technically, we're both right.
Dude. See what you made mom and dad do? You made mom and dad fight on the podcast, dude. I am 3-4 beers in at this point. I have another one lined up right here. That's going to be gone by the end of this podcast.
I've had nothing to drink, so.
I have a suggestion. Okay? Hear me out. Might be a bit off topic. You could do heroin.
I'm not.
Now,
that doesn't sound
don't you want to be like all the greats, like Kurt Cobain? Who else does heroin? A senator, probably. You know,
probably.
I don't know. There's probably a senator out there with lean, bruh. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. Did you turn on your candle?
It is on.
Oh, it's just turned so I can't see it.
Listen, dude. Want to see the production of this set, dude? Look at this. There it is. Should leave mine tilted. None of this is real. This is the most lowbrow.
We're falling apart at the seams.
For those of you who watch, oh, you know what I didn't do? I'm gonna turn on those lights. Anyway, we're covering Gef the Talking Mongoose, and I'm very excited about this. It's a long time coming. I feel like we should have talked about this prior.
Yeah, we should have, but I'm also very upset. I slaved over this episode.
For our guest. Yeah.
Because I thought it would be funny as hell to talk about a talking mongoose.
Yeah, and instead when our guest does the one that we did schedule, when they do eventually show up, I'm gonna do the saddest. We're gonna do Columbine again. Like we're gonna do the history of 9/11.
See what you made us do? I tried to give you a talking mongoose because I thought you can make some good jokes off of that. That's pretty fun to talk about. No, instead you've rescheduled twice, so now we talk about Columbine again.
I hope you're ready for the history of the Gulf War. It's just gonna be like the most like violent and sad story possible. We'd be like, let's talk about the Route 68 shooting in Las Vegas. And just get into the most nitty gritty, worst imaginable thing to talk about.
Zero
joke. It just makes you feel bad to talk about, to listen to, whatever. We need a mannequin for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often.
No. But I am ready to get into it. And while you're doing that, I'm going to be turning on some lights.
Okay, well, I am working on it. Okay, I already had it pulled up. I kind of have things happening. So sometime around 1933, two teenage cousins, Harry Hall and Willie Kuban, paid a visit to a new friend of theirs named Gef. So we're just kind of getting to a little bit of backstory. Gef lived in a remote windswept farmhouse on the Isle of Man. He was very shy, and the cousins could hear him talk but never saw their new friend. From behind a wall, Gef would guess heads or tails when a coin was flipped, or play catch with a rubber ball through a hole in the attic ceiling. Soon enough, though, Gef began misbehaving, spitting and threatening on the boys that he would wet on their heads.
Okay, so he talks like a Catholic priest. So the and it was also it's important to mention that Gef is spelled G-E-F.
Yes.
Gef the Talking Mongoose.
Gef.
And he talks like he talks. Allegedly, he would talk in a high pitch, almost feminine teenager style voice.
It was very squeaky.
Yeah, that's how it was described, was feminine teenager voice, high pitch.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm Gef the Talking Mongoose. I'm
gonna spit on your fucking head. This is the most low-brain shit possible.
Turns out.
These cameras need a turn. There it goes.
Turns out, Gef was no normal boy. It was a talking mongoose.
I'm Gef the Talking Mongoose. I'm gonna wet under your head.
Dude.
Hey, Taylor.
Huh.
Hey, Taylor.
What?
Heads or tails?
Heads.
I don't got a coin. Find me the boy. It's like, okay.
Okay.
Bring the boy to me.
So, Dorlish, Kashen, which is the farmhouse where Gef resided, was in many ways kind of a stereotypical haunted house. It was an ancient farmstead on a notoriously fairy-filled desolate isle situated some 725 feet above sea level between England and Ireland.
It's also known as the Isle of Man. I wish this camera would turn. Isle of Man, which is known to have the deadliest motorcycle race in the world.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, the statistics of you dying in the Isle of Man is like 1 to 3.
That's a lot.
It's insane.
I thought it was gonna be.
The mortality rate of racing that race is insane. But the I don't know how far you're gonna go into this, but the talk about the fairy-filled, lands of the Isle of Man is it believed that a fae presence is very heavily populated within the Isle of Man.
Yes.
Which, question number 1 to think about, is Gef the Talking Mongoose actually part of the fae? Cam turn. There goes.
I don't know. I mean, we're gonna kind of dive into some stuff.
Or is it all a lie? Cam turn, please. There goes.
Some think that, but I don't know. So in 1917, married couple James and Margaret Irving moved into Dorlish, Kashen, where they were soon joined by their daughter, Foyri. And then after several years of peace, Gef suddenly appeared.
Hey, it's me, Gef the Talking Mongoose. I'm here. I'm over here. Come look at me. Look at me. Witness me. Come over here and witness me.
Okay. Great.
I'm just a little mongoose.
So, one fateful evening in September of 1931, it started with an irritating scratching sound within the walls of the farmhouse, but soon evolved into hisses or spits, even the crying of a baby. That was actually pretty good.
Was that pretty good, dude?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Professional voice actor Fred Stewart, hire me, please. For the love of God, somebody release me from my miserable existence.
So, soon after they start hearing these noises, it was revealed that this creature had the ability to talk and introduced itself as Gef, a mongoose. According to Gef, he was born in New Delhi, India in 1852. And so when they're kind of figuring out what the fuck this is, because it's scratching and hissing and whatever, the growls had at one point turned into gurgling sounds. As James Irving would later recall in a 1937 interview, like those of a baby learning to talk.
Witness me. I love how Gef is, they're like, what is that noise? And it's just like, my name is Gef the Talking Mongoose. I was born in 1852 in Delhi.
New Delhi.
New Delhi. Not the old one. New Delhi, India. Witness me.
So fascinated with this creature, James Irving actually taught the creature English.
Oh, that's it, which is the cutest part of the story.
Pretty cute.
Just like, hey, horrific monster that lives in our walls that we can't see. You want to talk, little guy? You know, like,
So Irving would apparently say words out loud for Jeff to repeat in parrot fashion. And Jeff was grateful. In a letter Irving wrote in 1934, Irving recounted Jeff saying, "For years, I could understand all that was said. I tried to talk, but couldn't until you taught me."
It's so wholesome.
Yeah.
And like, this story overall generally is pretty wholesome.
There's some ups and downs.
There's some ups and downs.
There's quite a few ups and downs.
Jeff wanted to get some ups and downs later, but that's not important. It's overall, it's not generally a haunting story that we normally talk about. You know, where it's like, I am the ghost of Sir William III. Witness me. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say witness me a lot, but it's it's not like that, or like a cryptid story where it's this horrific beast. It's just like, I'm a little guy, and I'm out here, and I'm in the rafters. Look at me, you know. And then he's like, but if you fucking cross me, I'll fucking kill you. You know, like
He's got moments, okay?
He's got moments.
He's got some anger issues.
Everyone's got their breaking point, dude. And for Gef the Talking Mongoose, we'll find out.
He's got quite a few. So, yeah, with these new language skills, Jeff told Irving he was a ghost of a mongoose.
No further questions, Your Honor.
He had been born in New Delhi, India on Monday, June 7th, 1852, so he gave an exact date. I didn't know that mongoose kept track of the day, but apparently they do.
Mongooses have calendars.
Yeah. You're going to say mongooses, and I'm going to say mongoose.
Listen. Okay, we've been over this. We're
both right.
Technically, we're both right. When this episode comes out on Sunday, you're listening to it on Sunday, go over to our Instagram. In our story, I'm going to have a poll. Mongooses, mongoose. You vote which one you like better. Then we'll know. If it's a 50-50 split, I'm building a fucking killdozer. Now, continue.
So Jeff apparently is quoted as saying, "And I shall haunt you with weird noises and clinking chains," according to Irving.
May whenever Gef the Talking Mongoose quotes come up, may I do it in my best Gef the Talking Mongoose voice?
Sure.
Okay.
So more than once, Jeff referred to himself as
an extra clever mongoose.
He's also referred to himself as an earthbound spirit and
a ghost in the form of a what the fuck? Oh, man.
Of a weasel.
A ghost in the form of a weasel. So cute.
It soon became evident he had the ability to shapeshift and even become invisible.
Yes.
On one notable account of this is an incident reported by Voiry's father, Jim, who we've talked about. James, Jim, you'll hear both in the story because I pulled from a couple different places. Jim and James is the same fucking thing.
No.
Yeah.
Jim and James are not the same thing.
Jim is shorthand for James.
That's fucking stupid.
My grandpa Jim? Yeah, his name is James.
He's lying to us. My camera's off.
Why's your camera so off?
It's because I'm
You're slouching?
I'm slouching because I'm a few beers in. Also, I'm not in focus.
It's okay.
I look like I play for Creed. With arms wide open. You know, Godsmack is just Nickelback on a motorcycle. Now...
Okay, anyway. One night in 1932, when Jim and his daughter were home alone in broad daylight, Jim witnessed an unusually large orange cat Okay. If you hear crinkling, it's her dog just existing. I guess she crinkles all the time. Leave it alone. Leave the crinkly. So he witnessed a unusually large cat that was striped like a tiger. Knowing that it wasn't a normal cat. No, it jumped. I'm falling apart.
The way you could tell that it was not a normal sized cat is because it had a fun little hat. Now,
I'm trying my best here. Apparently, if I double click my document, it just is like, you wanted to edit this? And I was like, no, I'm just trying to get the fucking bar out of my way. So he knew it wasn't a normal cat. So Jim loaded his single barrel gun and followed it into an open field. The cat then turned a corner and vanished. While relaying the events to his wife later, Gef called out from the walls, "It was me! It was me you saw, Jim!"
And for the audio listeners, even the video listeners or watchers, you may think that I'm doing some post editing on my voice, but in reality, I can just do this all the time.
Great. He does.
I'm severely mentally ill. You're right. I do this all the time. It's usually in a Mickey Mouse voice, and then I followed up by saying something insane.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh boy! Oh, the CIA killed Kennedy, and I can prove it. All right.
Great. So we're gonna kind of jump forward to 1935. And we're going to kind of talk about what people think. Jim Irving sent in hair samples to Harry Price, who is a forensic examiner.
And let me go on a fucking tangent about Harry Price. Okay? Real quick.
You're good. Yeah.
So Harry Price, for those of you who do not know, is much like J. Allen Hynek. Do you know who J. Allen Hynek is, Tay?
That's a stupid question. Yes.
Yes, of course.
I get so excited when he's on, like, when they mention him on our, like, shows that we watch. I'm like, it's him.
It's the fucking Frenchman.
It's the man.
It's the fucking it's the French. That guy. But instead of aliens, it's ghosts.
Yeah.
That's who fucking, what's his name?
Harry Price.
Harry Price is. That's basically what he is. He's basically a guy who got into the business to talk and basically discredit paranormal phenomena, but time and time again is also like, what the fuck? You know, like, he's quite the character. So that's who Harry Price is. That way we're not just throwing a name at you.
Yeah.
But if you know.
You know.
You know.
If you know, you know. So Jim had said that Gef claimed to have plucked the hairs from his back himself. Harry concluded that the hairs did not come from any sort of mongoose, nor ferret, nor other small mammal. Instead, the hairs closely resembled the fur of a longish-haired dog.
Which matches up with the dog that the family owns.
Yep, Mona. When Harry Price visited the home, he took some hairs from Mona, and he was like, "That's it. That's the dog's hair." So it brings to question: was Gef all an elaborate ruse, or is Gef just pulling a fucking sick prank?
Or hear me out. This is about to be a really strange tangent. It's 1935. It's the Isle of Man. It's post World War I.
Yeah.
Right. Not a lot happening. Right.
Right.
Yeah. They have their 14-year-old daughter. Probably doesn't got a lot of friends. You know, according to the media, didn't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
You know, and these people are fucking bored. And did they just start thinking oh, it would be kind of funny to see a talking mongoose? And then they had this inside joke amongst themselves, and then they kind of almost chaos magic their fucking way into manifesting an actual entity within their own imagination, which in turn becomes real because they're on Phalanx. Did they tap into some weird elemental shit that, like fairy rings and shit, like the Fae?
Yeah.
It's just they tap into that energy, that spectral plane and it becomes real. Listen, dude, I am fucking. Listen, I'm like 4 beers in, dude. I'm starting to think about some crazy shit right now.
So, there were also apparently imprints of Jeff's teeth, as well as his claws that were examined, and inspection revealed that there was an unusual disparity between the front and rear paws, with the front paws measuring 8 to 10 centimeters, which was remarkably large for a creature that... Jeff is not a large creature.
No, I would say he's the size of a mongoose.
He's actually not the size of a mongoose.
He's not. He's actually not. Yeah. But it's called making a bit for podcasting. But
he's only 30 centimeters in length.
Yeah. And everybody knows that mongooses are
You've combined them.
The mongooses are at least 35 inches.
Of course, yes.
35 centimeters, not inches. That'd be horrifying.
35-inch mongoose.
It's a big mongoose.
It's a fucking giant mongoose. This, however, was still consistent with Irving's description of Jeff's little human-like hands,
which is fucking horrifying. He not only
got the hands of a human.
Not only can he talk,
yeah,
which not great. I mean, don't get me wrong, pretty fucking cool. But it's like, imagine you are being haunted by a mongoose that can turn invisible and lives in your fucking rafters of your house. Just coming around, playing little bits, doing little jokes, right? It's coming after you, and not only can it talk, but it has fucking hands and it can turn invisible. It's not great.
Every time I think of mongoose, did you ever watch Ricky Tikki Tavi?
Yes.
That was my shit as a kid. I loved Ricky Tikki Tavi.
Also, Garfield 2.
I told you that in confidence.
You told me that on this podcast. and so much so that we put it on TikTok. It's Garfield 2. It was just like that. Like, you're looking at your invisible scroll of reading. Followed closely behind by Pitch Perfect. Yes.
Okay, listen. I just really like Garfield. And it was all I could think of in the moment because I had seen the ad for the new Garfield movie.
They're making another one?
Yeah. It's animated. It's not a live action like the Garfield the movie. This is another Garfield the movie. Same name. Animated, though.
God has abandoned us.
We're going to go see it in theaters.
The fucking hell we are. Absolutely not.
We're going like 6 times every night.
Thank you so much for joining us on House Crazy Omens. This is our final episode. Do appreciate you guys checking us out. I'm not doing it. We're never streaming again. It's not happening.
It's because he's gonna murder me.
No.
Well,
having to watch the Garfield movie 6 fucking times in theaters in 1 week is my 13th reason why.
Joke's on you. I already bought the ticket.
Joke's on you. I'm not fucking going. We're getting off topic.
We're so off topic.
Hold on. There we go.
So yeah, they have these imprints. They send them to the Zoological Society for analysis, and it was revealed that there was absolutely no animal with paws of such largeness in proportion to body size. So, I don't know. It's pretty weird.
I don't know.
So the Irvings had made a lot of claims about Jeff. He supposedly guarded their home and informed them of guests or any unfamiliar dog. If someone forgot to put a fire out at night, Gef would go down and stop the oven. Gef would also wake people up when they overslept.
Which is, I mean, listen.
He's
Not only that, but he would come and like, because apparently, according to the family, he traveled a bit around town.
Yeah, no, he was everywhere.
He was everywhere, and he'd be like,
Did you hear about the Thompsons down the street? Their daughter, she learned how to ride a bike, but she fucking sucks at it.
you know, and he would just gossip.
Yeah, he was super
I
gossip.
heard that Mary Lou from down the street is a huge bitch. Found out she fucking is.
You know, like, it was like that, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, Gef, crazy. Tell me more."
So there was also when mice would get into the house, Gef would assume the role of a cat, though he preferred to scare the mice rather than kill them.
Which, I don't know if you're gonna get into the rabbits part of this. Are you gonna talk about rabbits at all?
I don't remember.
Gef allegedly killed rabbits, and the family would state that it would look like the rabbits were strangled to death
With his tiny but also disproportionately large human hands.
He's like, it's the only way that I know how to come.
You know, like
Okay.
Gef, please. But because like a lot of people were like, what if it's their fucking daughter who's just strangling rabbits to death? And to that I say, dear listener, is the daughter apparently allegedly kills the rabbits in much more horrific ways, where she would have Gef go up and be like,
Hello, little rabbit. It's me, Gef The Talking Mongoose.
or the dog would come up and point at the rabbit, you know, as a pointer, and like the rabbit would freeze, and then the dog would just come up and fucking wham and just like smash it to death. So listen, it's fucked up, but living on a farm.
It is also the 1930s.
It's 1935. Well, 1930s.
Yeah.
Like living on a farm. Be like, hey, fresh rabbit. What if I just, I don't know, beat it to death? And I'm not. But
Gef said, "I'll take care of it. Don't worry."
Yeah, like the daughter is doing it in the sake of food and all that stuff. Gef is doing it so he can come. It's very different.
Gef is doing it as a blood sport, honestly.
I get it.
So, according to the Irvings, they gave Gef biscuits, chocolates, and bananas, and food left in a saucer for him, suspended from the ceiling, which he took when he thought no one was watching. Mongoose regularly accompanied them on their trips to the market, but always stayed on the other side of the hedges, chatting incessantly. He was a fucking chatterbox.
Yeah.
Last week I came to the market last week, and I saw a guy over here, and he was selling cool sword stuff, but I couldn't buy one because I don't got money.
Because I'm a mongoose.
It's insane that when we first started this podcast, we were generally on the same wavelength, but we're absolutely on the same wavelength. Because I'm mongoose. Sometimes when I go to the market, I try to buy bread, but I got these tiny little hands. It's hard to carry.
Because I'm a mongoose.
It's my mongoose. Oh man.
So, the story of Gef became very popular in the tabloid press, and many journalists flocked to the aisle to try and catch a glimpse of Gef. Several other people, both locals and visitors, claimed to have heard Jeff's voice, and two have claimed to seen Gef. I've actually seen Gef. However, physical evidence was lacking. Footprints, stains on the wall, and hair samples all seem to belong to the Irvings' sheepdog instead of Gef. But there's several photos out there as well, supposedly of Gef. I think it's in here somewhere. He did not want to be on camera.
Yeah.
Absolutely did not. But he did agree to let Voiry photograph him. And supposedly the photographs that are out there, that's him from Voyery taking pictures of him.
Yeah, and one of the photos is Gef on top of Jim's head.
Yeah.
And some people were like, is that Gef the Talking Mongoose, or is it a really shitty hat? And which is an actual genuine question.
There was also the one on the fence.
Yeah.
There's one of him on a little fence, like the wooden fences. He's on like the top bar.
Yeah, and with Gef Talking Mongoose, it's a very curious case because like it's like any haunting story of this entity that it's hard to prove or disprove.
Especially because it was so long ago.
I mean, it's not that long ago. In relative terms.
In relative terms, no, but in terms of like...
I guess it is almost 100 years, but like...
I was going to say, it's like, it started over 90 years ago.
Yeah, but it's one of those stories where it's like, this is in the day and age of, it's not like it's 1860 and there's a ghost in my walls. It's, like it's post World War I, there's cameras, people are taking photos and stuff. It's like that. But what I'm saying is like,
but nothing's really good quality, as a photograph wise, like there's nothing.
It's heavily documented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and with this story, it is very funny because there's the two sides of the story. There's the believer side and there's the skeptic side, and the skeptic side is significantly more harsh because the believer side is like, I saw Gef the Talking Mongoose, he was cool, came out, I saw him, took a photo of him, he let me take a photo of him, very cool. Versus the believer side, which is like, the daughter is a natural ventriloquist, she's actually doing the voice. Also, she has no friends.
They were very mean to Voyery.
They were so mean. It's
reason.
insane because legit one of the articles that was written in the tabloids was like, she doesn't have a lot of companionships. She's very lonely.
She's also a 14-year-old girl on the Isle of Man where there's not a ton going on. Who do you expect her to make friends with?
Yeah, it's like, she's out there talking to sheep and roaming the woods. Like, what a fucking loser. And
they're so mean to her.
Like, think about how, like, awful that is as a 14-year-old child. Being
she
like...
tolerated a lot.
Yeah, and then the tabloids are like, you're a fucking loser.
Like, it's wild. I don't know, man. I don't know. So Gef does kind of have this reputation online of being a harmless, lovable entity, but he actually kind of had a very bizarre love-hate relationship with them. I mean, he did a lot of things where you're like, that's not so chill. Which,
to me, in my personal opinion, is because the way he starts out is more poltergeist.
Yeah.
In style. There's not a lot of talking. There's the scratching the walls, there's the rapping, there's there's this noises and stuff and the gurgling and like it's almost poltergeist in behavior.
Yeah.
But once he learns how to like talk, essentially, it becomes more to me fairy-like.
Yeah.
Where fairies in their own set of ways aren't necessarily positive or negative. They're kind of like somewhere in between. They're chaotic neutrals.
Fae are known to be tricksters.
Yeah, exactly.
When you look at Fae, like stories about the Fae, they're often known for tricking people, and I mean that's why you don't give your name to the Fae. If you don't know that, you don't tell the Fae your name, because then they own you. So there's that. Also, if you ever get transported to the Fae realm, don't eat their food. Don't drink anything. Otherwise, you're stuck there for fucking eternity. But they don't tell you that. That's not it. That's in the fine print. But it's like Fae fine print, so it's extra tiny.
Yeah, because they're like little fairies and stuff.
they're little. Also, fun fact: the Fae don't like being called fairies.
Okay.
They prefer to be called the Fae.
Now, question for you.
Yes.
As a Wiccan yourself, am I going to be canceled by the fairies?
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm about to go fucking crazy on the fairy Twitter, dude. It's about to be crazy.
You just continue. You're like, I'm not correcting.
Keep these fucking keep fairies out of my fucking algorithm. That almost sounded a little too Republican. Now, so time out.
Can't say that.
I can. It's all jokes here, people. But with like this, with Gef the Talking Mongoose, it's very, like I said, it's to me, like I said, it's more Fae-esque than it is anything else.
Yeah.
That's what makes this story so unique, where it has this elemental vibe, which what I was talking about, which is like it's a natural thing. It's an animal, right? It manifesting, but it also has the qualities of a fairy in the sense of like it can fucking talk, it can turn invisible. He's a trickster. He's this chaotic neutral entity where he's not really positive, but he's not really negative. He's somewhere kind of in that gray zone.
Yeah. I mean, like, he was known, he would warn, the family of danger outside or what the neighbors were saying about them. Because, again, this is a mongoose who likes to gossip.
Loves the gossip.
He's such a gossip queen. I don't know what else to call him.
Your sewer next door is a bitch.
Like, oh, dude.
You want to know what she said about you?
Continue, please. That got me so off guard. I wasn't ready for you to do a Gef the Talking Mongoose voice. Usually I'm the one doing voices.
I lost my bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was gonna say.
You know what she said about you? she said, you're fucking ugly and your chickens look like shit.
Isle of Man, more like Isle of Her, am I right? Now,
I like that I was able to take you off guard there.
yeah, you've been doing it a lot lately, dude. Been keeping me on my toes.
Listen, I'm getting bits. I'm getting more bits. I'll probably have less bits.
Mark my words. The next time we record this podcast, okay, I'm gonna have a mannequin for you. It's gonna be set up.
Perfect.
It's gonna happen.
I don't need it often, but when I do, I fucking do.
Yeah. So let's get it back into Gef and why he's technically, in a way, a bad guy.
Yeah. So, Gef was known for just tormenting specifically the mother. He would follow her around outside of the house everywhere. And when she would leave, he would throw rocks at her while insulting her at the same time.
You fucking dumb bitch. Get back here. Get back here so you throw rocks. These rocks are super heavy because I'm a mongoose.
Started laughing.
Yeah, I'm trying to lose the bit. Apparently, also Gef laughed in satanic, high-pitched laughter.
Yes, that is.
You can do it without laughing. He would just laugh like that.
Yeah.
And what's...
I'm sure our roommate is like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, no. And what's really funny is like, so he did effectively torture this woman.
Yes.
In the sense of like, he would throw rocks at her, call her names,
You fucking fat bitch.
and she would just walk away and she'd be like, Gef, leave me alone, Gef.
Fucking get back here so I can throw rocks at you.
Yeah. And then she'd be like, Gef, leave me the fuck alone, dude. I'm trying. Listen, do you want me to buy fucking bananas and like other weird shit like not that bananas are weird, but you want to go buy some weird shit for you at the market or not?
Yeah.
All right. Now go in the rafters and fucking throw shit at people from there.
Maxie.
No, God damn it. And it was like that. But I'm sure I don't know if you're gonna get to it. Jeff was a bit of a suave fellow.
I don't know if I have that specific part in there because there's not. So the thing with this story is there's not a ton out there. There's a couple little articles. There's a wiki.
A book.
Well, yes, there is a book, but I don't read. So
What's new?
I can read. I just don't. Supposedly. And I didn't have enough time to read a book while writing this episode.
Gef the Talking Mongoose. That is crazy.
I can read, and I read fairly fast. I know you've never seen me pick up a fucking.
I bought you a book years ago.
I still have it.
When we were dating. We were just dating.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of the early stage.
Yeah.
Right? I bought you the book because you're like, I like books.
I do like books.
Guess what she's never read? It's been years. This podcast has been around for like 3 years. Never read a page. Now, listen, I read probably, I don't know, a quarter of it. Pretty good.
I know. I need to read it. I get so tired. I'm so tired. My brain doesn't want to work after work.
It's insane. Now,
I like audiobooks because I can listen to the book and I don't have to like sit down and read it. So I listen to audiobooks a lot while I'm grooming dogs because that works really well for me.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't have to sit down and like read. It's being read to me, which works really well.
We're getting off
for
topic, but listen. When we do Beyond the Omens, eventually we'll talk about books. But with Jeff, he was, like I said, he was very aggressive towards the mother.
Yeah.
And it is also really weird that he was also like kind of horned up, dude.
He was pulling the classic kindergartner, like, boy likes a girl, so he's just mean as shit all the time.
Your fucking eyebrows are dumb.
It's like, oh, Jeff, don't do that.
Yeah, that's all right. You're fucking pretty though. You got a boyfriend.
She's like, Jeff, I have a husband. You've met him.
Yeah, but he's a fucking pussy, you know.
Jeff is a very weird enigma of sorts, I suppose, is a good way to put that. He was also supposedly obsessed with voyeury.
Mm-hmm.
Obsessed. And he would sleep with her every night. There are some accounts that say she was actually initially fucking terrified of Jeff. Well, she did not like Jeff.
Fucking obviously.
For a very long time, she did not like Jeff. And Jeff was just like, you're my fucking person now.
Oh, you're telling me the elemental spirit that is Gef the Talking Mongoose, who could turn invisible, has human hands, and not only that, but he can fucking speak English, and the person voyeur was terrified of him? I'm shocked.
She didn't like him for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Like, she did not want to be around him. But the problem was...
I don't want to be around Jeff because he was racist.
The problem is so one time the family had locked her in the room with them for the night, and Jeff proceeded to terrorize the family with classic poltergeist activity. Floating objects, loud banging. Like, it was true, like, poltergeist activity when he couldn't be near voyeury. Which is fucking weird. Fucking terrifying. Like, you're like, I'm gonna go sleep in my parents' room for the night because I'm a little scared of Jeff. And he's like, no, the fuck you're not. He's fucking.
You gotta hear all this gossip. Come over here and hear all this gossip.
Like,
Everyone at school thinks you're fucking dumb.
Everyone thinks you're weird. You talk to a mongoose.
Everyone knows you talk to an invisible mongoose in your house.
They know.
And
They know. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously she's not going to be a huge fan
Yeah.
of Jeff. I mean, it is very funny that Jeff does become such an integrated part of the family, because like everyone at first, we're making it seem like Jeff just kind of appears and everybody's like, that's fucking cool. Let's teach that thing how to talk, and then they start teaching it. But in reality, everyone was fucking terrified of Jeff. No one understood what was happening. They thought it was the devil and fucking incarnate in their walls.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what is happening? Why is this invisible being talking to me? Why is it manifesting in such ways? And eventually they're like, he's kind of cool. You know, like, they
just kind of dealt with it.
Yeah. And then eventually it kind of becomes like an integrated part of the family, you know?
Yeah. So apparently the father did at one point try and poison Jeff, and he did succeed. However, Jeff did not die. Jeff only became ill. And he knew it was the father that tried to kill him, so he swore that if James ever tried anything like that again, he'd fucking kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
is the most direct threat that he's given.
I think the quote was like, I'll poison your livestock, I'll poison your I'll kill your chickens, I'll kill your farm, then I'll kill you.
Something like
it was
that.
Like basically I'll destroy everything that you stand for, and then I'll destroy you.
Yeah. No, Jeff was not about it. He was pretty pissed.
Yeah, and also apparently like with the Jeff with this incident, but with this encounter, he was like in the walls and he was like coughing and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like,
I'm sick.
and they're like, what's wrong, Jeff? Why are you sick? You know, and they're like, and he's like,
I'm fine.
and they're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
No, like he was fine. He just became ill is all that happened. Jeff was known to talk to people on the island. There was one, a teen boy would talk to Jeff about what he did for work. And apparently Jeff was fascinated by the fact that the young man could operate heavy machinery.
You know, that is fascinating. You know what I found out today that fascinated me? That our former, still affiliated with the podcast and with the network, Mr. Marty Cowick, as a child, growing up in Farmington, New Mexico, used to suck on rocks.
I'm not surprised.
He said after it rained in Farmington that he'd go outside and find rocks that were still kind of damp, and he would suck on them because it tasted like the way rain smells before it rains. You know, that makes sense? You know, like you can smell the rain before it comes.
Yeah.
He would suck on them because he liked the taste, because it reminded him of that. And I had several questions to follow that up.
I think Marty had like a mineral deficiency as a child.
The moment he told me that, I said, checks out. No.
No, I can't say I'm surprised. And Marty, I say this with love. You seem like you would suck on rocks as a child. Like,
Totally.
Listen, bud. It's okay.
Yeah. But with this encounter with Jeff, it is very funny that he was like, the kid was like, he's like, yeah, sometimes I go out there and I don't know why I'm fucking like speaking like I'm from Appalachia, but you know, he's like sometimes I go out there and I go and I mess with the tractors and do things like that because I'm an island man and I'm farming and things like that. And Jeff's like,
Wow, you're the coolest dude I've ever met. I got so many. How do tractors work?
you know,
I don't know, because I'm a mongoose.
Oh no.
Is that the name of this episode?
I'm a mongoose.
I'm a mongoose.
Because I'm a mongoose.
Yes, it is the name of this episode.
Sorry, we're stupid.
Yeah, listen, if you've been a fan since day one, or if you're a new fan,
You're gonna find out real fucking quick.
we're the fucking dumbest people on the planet. And, oh, look at that. Wrong key. And...
That wasn't scripted.
Nah, see, 5 beers in. Now, never mind. You know what? That's enough evidence as it is. Let's continue.
Okay. Oh god. It did the thing.
But I'm a mongoose.
So, yeah, I mean, psychic investigator Harry Price, who we talked about, in 1932 had arranged for colleague Harold Dennis to travel to Cashin's Gap to investigate the case of Gef the Mongoose. You know, and they did tons of interviews with the Irvings and around the Isle of Man, and many local residents had also claimed to have heard Gef talking or had just kind of eerie encounters which they attributed to Gef, which is very it's not just the Irvings. It's a widespread phenomena of sorts, right? Which is weird in of its own, because usually with we don't really talk about the fae encounters on here, but with poltergeist activity, usually it's the main family, maybe 1 or 2 other people outside the family that ever deal with it, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Whereas Gef is all around the Isle of Man, just hanging out, gossiping, having drinks with the bros. It's just...
You guys want to go crush some pussy or what?
You know?
I've been dating Kappa Kai.
You know, he's just in a frat.
Can you give me a beer? Because I can't really go up and order one because I'm a mongoose.
Because I'm a mongoose.
And I don't really want anyone to see me. And no one takes kindly when a mongoose comes up and says, yeah, can I get a pint?
Yeah, and then just go, ah!
They're like, oh, what the fuck?
But,
Yeah.
but granted, the Isle of Man is 33 miles long and 13 miles wide.
It's not big.
It's not huge.
But there's enough people on there that, on this island that are having an encounter that it's weird, right? It's weird for this many people to have an encounter outside the home as well, which we don't see in poltergeist activity, really. You don't really see it. No,
and which again kind of leads me more towards the elemental fae side of stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's this Gef is the manifestation of one of those types of entities and not necessarily a nuts and bolts, ghost or cryptid in a way.
Right.
He's somewhere kind of in this gray zone of what the fuck are you? But we know what you are, but we don't.
We should talk about the Fae more. Because it's always very interesting. So with when what's his face? Harold Dennis comes to the Isle of Man, that's when they send off, the hair sample and the prints and everything, which didn't match a mongoose or really any known animal, right? During that time, there were certainly strange occurrences during Dennis's visits to the Irving farmhouse, such as disembodied voices, which he did hear, in the the book. There was a quote, "We, Dennis and the Irvings, sat and talked until about 11:45 p.m. and as nothing had taken place, I suggested making my way back to Glen Mai Just as I heard the shut of a door, we heard a very shrill voice from inside scream, "Go away! Who is that man?" Mr. Irving gripped my arm and said, "That's it." Then there were also objects moved or thrown violently, shrill screams accompanied by terrific knocking, loud bangs emanated in all parts of the house in quick succession, as if the perpetrator moved with lightning speed. The bangs appeared to come from the roof, Mr. and Mrs. Irving's room, over the kitchen, on the staircase. The noises continued for about 15 minutes, culminating with tremendous bangs as something had been thrown with great violence upstairs. So we went again to Voiry's room and found that a heavy chair which Miss Irving had put on the staircase covering had been flung from its place and fallen partly on the bed and partly on a chest of drawers. Voiry, who was awake, said, "Oh, it's only some of Jeff's tricks," but did not appear perturbed.
I'll fucking smash your head in, bitch!
Like, all right, Jeff, I'm trying to sleep, dude. Jeff, go to bed. Like,
Okay.
No!
Okay, I'll go to bed after I smash this fucking hair, this chair into your fucking head.
So again, we're gonna know Voiry is the center of this activity, this attention. She's always kind of centered around it.
and what's really interesting is, like, even into her later years when she was in, I think she was interviewed when she was like 70, I want to say like 72, something like that. She was like talking about Gef the Talking Mongoose and would say, like, wholeheartedly that, like, she still believes in Gef.
Yeah, no, to the day she died,
Yeah.
she never recanted. She never wavered at all on her accounts of Gef. Everything was very consistent.
Yeah. And I do want to back up a little bit and kind of talk about Jeff's activity towards the mother.
Yeah.
Because we were saying, like, that Gef was this, you know, effectively was really mean to her constantly.
Yeah.
Would talk down to her, but eventually he kind of started putting the moves on her. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I mean, again, I haven't read the book, which probably would have been helpful.
I'll talk about the book in a second. Now, the book is quite something because but with the Gef Talking Mongoose towards the mother was like, you know, he would basically be like,
I like you. I think you're very beautiful. I wish that you and I could be a thing.
and she'd be like, Gef, I'm married, I can't do this. And he would do this, and Jim could fucking hear it. He'd be like, pretend to be sleeping in bed. He'd be like, and like, you know.
Like, oh, you're so beautiful. I love you.
Be like, Gef, please. And apparently, she would reach up into the rafters when you'd appear, give him little scratches, you know.
Yeah.
And I think he would get out of the sexual frustration by strangling rabbits to death.
Dude, there's so much with Gef. There's a lot.
But what I was going to say about the book.
Are you talking about Gef, The Strange Tale of an Extra Special Talking Mongoose?
I believe so. I believe it's
Written by librarian Christopher Joseph.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that's the correct one. With that particular book, which I found very funny about it, is that he was on the council at the time, basically like, you know, the governing council of the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
And they effectively removed him from the council because of his experiences with Gef the Talking Mongoose. And they're like, it's bullshit. They described it as what's the word I'm looking for? Not
Cuckoo bananas?
Basically cuckoo bananas. But it was what they said. They described him as unhinged, which I find very funny. And they removed him from the Isle of Man. So he actually went to fucking court to argue back that he got fired for bullshit for you know, because he's like, what I was experiencing was legit. And not only that, the majority of the case in a court of law was about Gef the Talking Mongoose and whether or not Gef the Talking Mongoose existed. And guess what happened?
He won?
He fucking won the case. In today's money, it was around $50,000, or sorry, not 50, $500,000.
Jeez.
He won.
That's wild.
So, checkmate, internet.
Christopher Joseph actually compares Gef to a Victorian musician hall comedian, saying Gef had a fondness for playing pranks and making what Joseph calls outspoken and irreverent comments that are a central part of Jeff's enduring appeal.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy. The Talking Mongoose repeatedly lampooned the Irvings, comparing James Irving to a Dickens character or saying his head resembled an onion.
First of all, Gef, fuck you. Yeah.
It's like, hi, hi, Jim.
What?
Your head looks like an onion.
I'm gonna get the fucking
And they start throwing fucking chairs. You know? I'm like, oh shit, Gef, please. And he's like, my head doesn't look like, honey, does my head look like an onion?
No, of course not.
Are you fucking that ghost mongoose?
I can't believe you would ask me such a thing.
They're just having a fight in their room. It's like, do you love that ghost mongoose more than me? It's like, what?
Yeah, so Gef, obviously, we've talked about it. He had a mean streak. But Joseph quotes that Gef once spied Margaret disrobing before bed. He called out the name of each item of clothing or underclothing as she removed them. So she takes off her blouse. And he's
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Blouse!"
take off that fucking blouse.
He just was harassing her. He's like, brah.
Dude, not only did Gef call out and be almost like a sports announcer, I'm just like,
Brah. Second bra.
He was.
Yeah.
He also at one point in all of the encounters with Gef the Talking Mongoose, the parents were having a
moment.
They're having a monster mash, and if you will,
I won't, but okay.
I will. And they were doing that, and Gef was supposedly outside the window watching as they were getting down and dirty, and being in typical Gef fashion, he was calling it out until they eventually had to stop.
Do you think the neighbors heard him?
Yeah, then the neighbor's just rocking back and forth on his porch, like, "Oh, it's a fine day out here in the Isle of Man. Oh, I sure do love Isle of Man. It's so quiet and peaceful in the distance."
I'm putting her fucking mission. Oh man, look at that hug on that motherfucker. Oh shit. Oh, he's losing it. Oh, he's got it back. Oh yeah, I get it. You get it, Jim.
The worst fucking sports
Put
announcer.
your fucking back into it, Jim.
Oh my god.
Just like that. And apparently that happened. They were like, "Gef, stop that shit," and he wouldn't stop, so they had to stop.
So then we have even stranger. The dog has my extension cord wrapped around her leg, so that's cool. Please don't yank it again. So in February 1937, Hungarian-born psychoanalyst Nandor Fodor, yep, I said that right, Nandor Fodor.
No comments.
Why?
Need I say any more than the funniest name that we've had so far? Nando Fodor.
Nandor, like what we do in the shadows. Nandor.
Nando Fodor.
Nandor Fodor.
Nandor De Laurentiis. Yeah.
No, Pandora. What the fuck?
It's like Beetlejuice, dude. It's crazy. Yes.
he showed up on the Isle of Man to investigate. Fodor repeatedly interviewed the Irvings, particularly James Irving, compiling through an account of Gef the Talking Mongoose in his 1951 book, Haunted People, Story of the Poltergeist Down the Centuries. He ditched the theory. Fodor had ditched the theory that poltergeists were invisible spirits of the dead and instead suggested they were psychic manifestations of a person's subconscious. How does that make you feel?
I mean, listen. We've heard this. I've heard this time and time again from being in the ghost hunting field for years.
Yeah.
That ghost phenomena is just in your head.
Right.
But, because you have people who are skeptics who are like, I've never experienced anything, so ghosts aren't real.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, maybe you don't experience it because, I don't know, it's complicated. Like, if you don't believe, do you experience it? But then again, people who don't believe sometimes do experience it, and then they become believers.
Yeah.
Does that make it more... Does it manifest more often if you believe in it? Ghosts. Confirmed.
My thing is, I don't think it manifests more when you believe, but I feel like if something is brought up where you bring it up to someone, you're like, hey, I don't feel like I might be experiencing something like at my work with our spirit.
Yeah.
You're more likely to notice the things going on, but I don't think it necessarily increases. I think you just notice it more.
Yeah.
I don't think the ghost is like, oh fuck, they believe, I gotta get my ass in fucking gear. I think
you're not just like, hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming over. I've been experiencing a really weird thing in this house lately.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like what?
Now this is gonna sound crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a talking mongoose who lives inside our house. That's an elemental spirit who is also kind of not an elemental spirit, kind of like a fairy in a fae kind of way. They have human hands. They can turn invisible, turn into a cat. They can also turn into a man. They've done that at least once. That happens in the story. I don't know if it's in here or not. But they also do that. They hit on my wife and also make fun of her. They scare the fuck out of my daughter and they make fun of my head. Is my head onion shaped to you?
I have too many questions to answer that last one.
And then just in the distance, you just hear, "You're talking about me?" It's like, oh my fucking God.
I genuinely don't think that believing in a poltergeist or anything like that increases the activity. I think you just notice it,
But what if so say that the daughter, because it seems to be kind of centered around the daughter.
Yes.
Is not a natural born ventriloquist, right? And what is happening is genuine. But say it's not this makes the story so complicated is say she's a natural psychic, okay?
Right.
She has some psychic ability that she does not understand how it works. She doesn't even know that she has it.
Yeah.
Okay? And subconsciously, she's projecting her psychic ability to be creating this entity to terrorize her home into poltergeist behavior. Okay? Crazy, crazy thought. But why, if that is the case, why is Gef everywhere on the Isle of Man? Why does the Gef know things that the daughter wouldn't know?
I'm going to go on the stance that I don't think that the daughter had any part in it, because there's too many things at play that just do not make sense for it to be her. If she was always around whenever he was around, I'd be a little more suspicious, because we've had cases like that where it's like the Fox sisters, where they have this elaborate ruse of knocking and things like that, right?
Yeah, cracking their toes on a stage, yeah.
Yeah. So we have cases where it's a little more suspicious, but there's too many things that don't add up for it to be the daughter. I genuinely think it's not her, being like, I want to play a trick on everybody I know. I'm going to become a talking mongoose. I don't think that's the case.
I'd play a trick, but I'm just a mongoose.
Yeah, it is that's what's so strange about this case and the story. Like just repeating, we're talking ourselves in circles again, but it doesn't make sense. It's not a stereotypical haunting, and that's what's so unique about Gef the Talking Mongoose. Yeah.
I mean, with Fodor, he believed that the living people could conjure real hauntings with only their thoughts. These psychic hauntings, he claimed, were powerful enough to throw objects or levitate tables. And at the time, Fodor's ideas were very controversial. I still think they probably are.
They probably are. And what's very interesting is that I have been researching a topic that we're going to do that we've actually talked about on HGO, but we've never actually like covered properly on HGO. And when we do said episode, I'm going to pull a test. I want to bring a guest on for that episode specifically, and I want to try a test that kind of relates around that.
Okay.
To see if whether or not it can happen. Wrong screen.
Yeah, so with Gef, Fodor came to actually try and interview him. During his time on the Isle of Man, Fodor investigated the scenes of Gef's antics, diligently interviewed witnesses, and tried his best to communicate with the beast himself, but Gef was not having it. He would not communicate with Fodor. And he never got to meet Gef the Talking Mongoose.
Which is a shame, because other people who came to the Isle of Man actually got to physically see Gef.
He was like, hi!
You know, he's just being a little guy.
Yeah, I think it probably has to do with Fodor being more on the, like...
skeptic side?
In a sense, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I think Fodor's beliefs are kind of what Gef was like. Your vibes are off.
No, Gef, hear me out. Gef, I know you're... Listen. Hodor's here, okay? Listen, I know you don't like him, okay? But he's not that bad of a guy.
He can suck my left nut.
Okay, well, you heard him, and he's like, I didn't. What are you talking about? What did he say to you? He doesn't want to talk to you right now. He could suck my left nut. It's so funny.
Like, he's a huge bitch. I don't like that guy. Fuck him.
In the end, Fodor ended up writing a goodbye letter. Because if you did not know, Gef could read. And he says, quote, I am very disappointed you did not speak to me. Nonetheless, I believe you to be a very good and generous mongoose, and I brought you chocolate and biscuits.
Listen, he may not believe. That's a good guest. You know?
Yeah.
That's cute.
It's pretty nice of him. I don't know if you knew this, but Fodor's investigation actually was adapted into a film called Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose.
No, but I'm gonna look it up and we're gonna watch it tonight.
It stars actor and comedian Simon Pegg as Fodor and author Neil Gaiman as the voice of Gef.
It came out last year.
Yeah.
Buddy.
It's billed largely as a comedy, obviously.
We're watching this shit tonight.
What's it on?
They're not a sponsor. Fuck them.
Does it start with a rhyme? Is it rhyme with rhyme?
Let's continue on with the story.
So, yeah, it's just... Despite all the, like, bizarre stories surrounding Gef, there's no real, like, concrete evidence that has ever been uncovered about the mongoose's origin or source. some people think he was just a communal delusion. Some think that Gef was a manifestation of James Irving's unconscious mind. Some think it was all made up. Some think the daughter was a ventriloquist. They don't really know. And around the closing of the 1930s, Jeff's visitations did become less frequent. And following James Irving's death in 1945, Margaret and Voiry actually ended up leaving the farmhouse. The following year, the new owner, actor Leslie Graham, claimed to have shot Gef. But pictures of the dead animal showed it to be a large black and white creature. Maybe a skunk.
Now, hear me out. Okay?
Yeah.
Tail end of the 1930s.
Mm-hmm.
Gef kind of starts disappearing.
Yeah.
All right. Where was Gef between the years of 1939 and 1945?
I don't know. Where was he?
I think you know.
Hey Stalin! Hey Stalin! Did you hear that they're clearing?
You know, just like, and they're like, he's like, oh, shut up, shut the fuck up.
So upon seeing the picture, Voiry was adamant that the thing Graham had shot was not Gef.
Yeah, obviously.
So
Yeah. Now I'm just imagining Gef going on to like every political leader during World War II.
Be like, hey Churchill, hey Winston Churchill, did you hear that they're gonna bomb London? You should go out there without and you just walk around. You see what happens if you just walk around.
And he's like, good heavens, I guess I will go walk around. They're like, Winston Churchill walked around during the London bombing. And it's
So-
like, no one can know that a talking mongoose convinced me to go for a walk. You know?
So I mean, that's kind of that's Gef the Talking Mongoose. I do have a list of quotes from Gef the Talking Mongoose.
Oh, please. Let's go through some quotes of Gef the Talking Mongoose.
So, I mean, we've got the obvious of, I'm not a spirit, I'm an extra clever mongoose.
It's what a cute little guy. Here, can we bounce around on some of these?
Yes. We've already talked about this one, which is that I'm a ghost in the form of a mongoose, and I shall haunt you with weird noises and clanking chains. We talked about that one. That was one. We've talked about the one where he says he was born from Delhi. She's like kicking in her sleep. She's kicking the stairs.
It's Gef the Talking Mongoose.
So this one.
Oh, man. It starts off great.
I'm a freak. I have hands. I have feet. And if you saw me, you'd faint. You'd be petrified, mummified, turned into a stone or a pillar of salt.
Fuck yeah, Gef.
We also got, I'll split the atom. I'm the fifth dimension. I'm the eighth wonder of the world.
I'm also legally, mentally insane.
So I do think it is very interesting that he talks about splitting an atom, like
In 1930.
in 1930.
I don't know when they split the first atom.
I don't know.
I think it was probably before that.
But like, I don't know.
Listen, I'll look it up. You keep reading the quotes.
Okay, you do that. It is weird though that he has like these quotes where he talks about splitting the atom and like how he's the fifth dimension, like all these things. It's very weird. We also got
In 1917.
So I mean, it's still a relatively new thing.
It was like 20 years. Well,
Still relatively new
I guess.
in the grand scheme of things. It's not.
It was like more like 17 years. So in relation to now, it's basically when like the Bee movie came out.
Did you look that up?
No,
I don't believe you.
I didn't.
You seem awful defensive about not looking up.
Listen,
the
I'm not
Bee
defensive at
movie.
all. My search history is the Doge Dog Death 2023 plural of mongoose. How big is the owl, man? Nandor Fodor, the talking mongoose. And when did they split the first atom? Oh, so before that, the other one before that was it was Robert Pickton stabbed?
Question mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the answer is yes. A lot.
We also got, I'm not evil. I could be if I wanted. You don't know what damage or harm I could do if I was roused. I could kill you all, but I won't.
I could kill you all, but I won't. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's do at least one or two more. Which one?
Quite a few.
Oh yeah.
If you knew what I know, you know a hell of a lot.
It's just listen. He's just a little
I
guy.
really like nuts. Put a sock on it. Chew Coke.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of feelings. He also was famous for saying, "Put the bloody gramophone on."
Put the bloody what?
Gramophone.
Put the bloody gramophone on?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, just listen. Jeff likes his music.
You know, he does.
He's like, hey, Jeff, drop a sick beat. My name's Jeff. GF. I don't know how to freestyle rap.
He also said, I have 3 attractions. I follow Voiry, Ma'am gives me food, and Jim answers my questions.
Listen.
He's got it all.
What's not to like about this little guy?
There's a few things, but
Listen, he never really harmed the family.
no, he's just...
He just kind of threatened them, you know, played around on the rafters, turned invisible every so often, and occasionally used to strangle rabbits to death for his own sexual pleasure. And allegedly. He definitely strangled rabbits, but you know, he's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy.
But yeah, Gef The Talking Mongoose is such a fun character.
He is interesting, isn't he?
Yeah.
How is it? Is it interesting?
It's just as fun as I imagined.
Yeah.
I love Gef The Talking Mongoose as a story. It's very fun. It's very complex. And now the question to you is Gef The Talking Mongoose a ghost? Is Gef the Mongoose a cryptid?
He's Fae.
Or is he somewhere in between?
I'm gonna say he's Fae.
So somewhere in between.
What do you think?
What I just said. Somewhere in between. I'm lower than I was.
You're lower and you shifted.
And I'm also out of focus again. But yeah, what do you think, dear listeners and watchers? Do you think that Gef The Talking Mongoose is potentially part of the Fae? And also, what is those gossip so much?
He's just a little
saucy little
guy.
bitch. If you enjoy this episode, back it up. If you enjoy this episode, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. For the 5 stars and listening to apps. And I'm gonna try to get through this without fucking all this up. Go and follow us on Instagram at HGOPodcast. Follow us on TikTok at HGOPodcast. You can send us an email at HGOPodcast@gmail.com. Go and send us an email. Share us what you think. Send us hate mail over on Instagram, please, so I can look at it, laugh, screenshot it, and send it to the rest of the Comedy Chaos Network. New episode of The Doc just came out. Go check that out. Was with Matt Danger. It was very fun. Old episode. We have 2 other episodes that I need to edit and process and put out, but I have to do some major editing on them because there's some really, and I do mean really gross shit on it. Actually, literally in one of them, but there's a lot happening.
There's a lot happening.
Go check it out. But if you want to follow me directly on Instagram, you can at Eye Out The Haunted. I kind of stream sometimes, occasionally. It's around Eye Out The Haunted. Everything Eye Out The Haunted. I'm out there. Go check it out.
Hi, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lunar Thrill. Otherwise, you can follow our dog at Spirit the Turv.
Spirit the Turv.
She's on there. She's probably more active than I am with her little feet posting things. Yeah, I mean, just kind of vibing, honestly. Yeah, that's all I got. I just got the 2 social medias really, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't do a whole lot.
This is real fun. So remember, dear listeners, remember to stay spooky.
Stay haunted.
And I would do an outro, but I'm just a mongoose.
Because I'm a mongoose.
Because I'm a mongoose.
On 3, I'm just a mongoose. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
I'm just a mongoose.
We're so stupid.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.